Hello there my friends, and welcome back to another episode of TA with K. My name is McKay. Pretty excited for today's episode as we're going to dive into our number 2 out of my top 10 coins that I think are good coins to hold or start looking to purchase as we transition into this next bull run. Now, of course, these videos are not financial advice. This is just my opinion, coins that I'll be eyeing to accumulate as we transition into the next bull run. The first video that I put out, which I'll leave a link in the description, I put out about a week ago. That was for Veracity or VRA. That was the number 1 coin out of the top 10. Now, these aren't ranked in any specific order, so I'm not saying that's my favorite coin, just saying that was the first video that I made. And today's video, which is coin number 2, we're going to be talking about the Oasis network, aka Rose. Now, one thing I want you to keep in mind, and those of you that have followed my channel for a while know this to be true, I myself am not a fundamental guy. I've always been very open and upfront about that. I'm ever trying to learn, and as I talk about these coins, I'm doing my best to dive into the technology side of them. But the reason they're on my radar to begin with was these are coins that I traded last bull run. Almost every single coin that I'm going to do, in fact, all but one coin that will be part of my top 10, are coins that I traded at some point in the last bull run. They all had, moments of hype within the cycle. I wrote them down on a whiteboard, about 20 coins, and, I've weeded them down now to 10, well, 9 at least, that came from last bull run. But they're all coins that caught my attention. They had a lot of hype around them, and that's the reason that they've made it to this point. And that was some help from my Telegram group, which has some members that are fundamentally sound, or at least members that pay more attention to that aspect of coins. We've been able to put this list together for you guys, which I hope is useful, as we kind of progress through this. But I just wanted to be very upfront that I myself am not a fundamental guy. At least I don't consider myself one at this point. However, I'm going to do my best to present that side of these coins to you, hopefully to build a case that alongside their chart, how they performed last bull run versus how I think they'll perform this bull run. Hopefully the combination of all that will provide some use to you so that you can make some sound decisions along with your own research on whether or not these coins might be something you might want to invest in. Alright, glad to have all that nonsense out of the way. Now, before we dive into today's content, I also wanted to quickly mention that we have a giveaway currently going on the channel. It's our second one since we partnered with the crypto exchange BitGet. We did a 10 users win $10 a week or two back, just by using my link in the description to create an account. This next one, which I'm about to roll a plug for, is 5 users to win $50, so $250 total dollars in the giveaway. At this point, nobody has actually met the criteria to qualify for the drawing, which ends this next Wednesday, or the 29th. I just wanted to throw that out there because at this point, should you decide to use my link and follow the directions in this plug that I'm about to roll, your odds of winning are pretty high. Yes, that is correct, my friends. We are doing our second giveaway on the channel since our recent partnership with the crypto exchange known as BitGet. This one's going to be pretty simple. There are 2 rules. Rule number 1, you need to use the link in my description to create a BitGet account. For those of you that have done this in the past, no need to do it again. You're already halfway qualified for this giveaway. Number 2, you're going to upload $500 to that account. You don't necessarily need to trade with it right away. You just need to upload it to the account. And between setting up the account using my link and adding the $500, you will qualify for the giveaway. Then on Wednesday, March 22nd, I'm going to be drawing 5 winners that qualified by following the rules that I just previously mentioned, using the link in the description, as well as uploading $500. And those 5 winners are each going to get 50 USDT added straight to their BitGet account that they can then use to start trading with. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you's support. Good luck, and thank you, BitGet. Okie dokie then. By the way, don't feel any pressure, obviously, to follow through with the giveaway if it's not something you're comfortable with. And of course, you can always leave a comment or message me if you have any additional questions about it. The whole idea is I'm going to start putting out a lot of videos in the coming weeks to months about BitGet, just their exchange. I'm also going to start copy trading soon, which is something that I put a video out about recently, which I will link in the description to that as well. It's a pretty exciting feature on their platform where, in my case, I plan on doing trades and having other users copy my trades. I think it sounds pretty cool. But anyways, the idea though is to get some of my users, people in my community, to create some accounts, get some money uploaded on there, and hopefully start trading with me on the BitGet exchange. But with that out of the way, we're gonna go ahead and jump into the content today, which is going to be about the Oasis network, aka Rose. And if that sounds interesting to you, please remember to like and subscribe, and let's go. It's TA with MK. It's TA with MK. All right, now before we jump into kind of what I think this coin can do from a price perspective this next bull run, and before we talk about the chart, obviously, which is kind of the thing that has me salivating, just because that is my area of, we won't call it expertise, but just more knowledgeable area, of course, as it relates to crypto. First, let's just talk a little bit about the Oasis network, or ROSE. Who created it? It was actually created by a professor at the University of California, a gal named Dawn Song. What exactly is ROSE? Well, it is a layer 1 decentralized blockchain network designed to power private DeFi. It is designed to be scalable with privacy first, and it creates a new type of digital asset called tokenized data. Now, this next part really is what makes the Oasis network very, very unique. It has two main components. It has what's called the consensus layer and the paratime layer. Now, the consensus layer is a scalable proof of stake consensus run by a decentralized set of validator nodes. It accepts data from its paratimes, which are similar like clients, and writes this data into the next block. Now, the other layer, which is the more fascinating layer, at least to me, is the one referred to as the paratime layer. It hosts many parallel runtimes, aka paratimes, each representing a replicated compute environment with shared state. What makes the Oasis network technology so unique? Well, it has two layers that can process transactions in parallel, which means that it can be running a complex transaction, a simple transaction at the exact same time, and because they're running separate than each other on the paratimes, even though they're parallel, the simple transaction will not be slowed down by the complex transaction, which is pretty cool. One other thing that's pretty cool is the paratime layer is entirely decentralized, which means anyone, yes, you included, can develop and build your own paratime. Now, this next little sentence or paragraph really is what makes the ROSE network, or the Oasis network, stand, kind of ahead of its competitors. So I'm just gonna go ahead and read it to you. It says, the network's sophisticated discrepancy detection makes Oasis more efficient than sharding and parachains, requiring a smaller replication factor for the same level of security. Basically, it can do more at much faster speeds without sacrificing the most important part, which is security. Next up, we've got the three main benefits of the Oasis network, which are scalability, privacy first, and versatility. Scalability means faster transaction speeds without a drop in security, like we mentioned before. Privacy first uses something called TEE, Trusted Execution Environment, and these TEEs act more or less like a black box, making sure data stays secure and is never leaked. And of course, versatility, which is very, very important with any crypto that you're looking to invest in. Does it have the ability to kind of change or adapt with the times? It says each paratime can be deployed in isolation to meet the needs of a specific application, meaning each paratime can be made to run a different paratime engine simultaneously. All right, so of course that all sounds super fancy, definitely a 5 out of 5 as far as their technology goes. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about the tokenomics. Now, they had a private sell in 2018, and here's kind of the breakdown of after that, kind of how they're distributing the percentage of the coins. It says 23% goes to the backers, aka the VCs, 22.5% goes back into the Oasis or ROSE ecosystem, 20% to the Oasis network team, which would be the people that developed this coin, 10% to the foundation, which I think is just another fancy way of saying to the team, 5% to partners, it mentioned, which is just sounds like a fancy word for more money to the VCs, and then 19.5% goes in validator rewards. Now, this is the only one that I'm not a huge fan of, and I'm just going to briefly explain. Now, this whole 19.5% validator rewards, the way that it works, or at least the way that Oasis Network explains it, is there's 120 validators that can earn rewards at one time. That's basically the max. So at any given time, only 120 different validators, or different people, essentially, that own the coin, can be validators and earn those rewards. Now, the way they are chosen is based off the amount of coins they hold, so the amount of rows they hold and have staked, and then the amount of time that they've had them staked, the length of time. The average retailer, as of a year ago at least, would have needed to own around $21,000 worth of rows just to basically be a validator, to be in the top 120. And that was while we were at the, the bottom of the bear market. So of course, if the price of rows goes up by 5x, that would be $100,000 that the average person would need to hold in order to be a validator. So I won't spend too much time, harping or talking about kind of this whole aspect of the validators, but I felt like like it was something I should mention because I don't think it'll be an issue until the latter part of this next bull run when most of the big sell-offs start happening. But keep in mind that because of the way the Oasis network has this set up, there's a very, very good chance at some point that these validators could definitely dump the price. Let me explain. So basically, Rose has 10 billion tokens, with about 5 billion of those being currently in, the circulating supply. And I found out online that the top 10 holders of this token account for 55% of the Rose holders. And then the top 100, which is even crazier to me, hold nearly 75% of the tokens. So I just wanted to put that out there because it will play a huge role on how I kind of play this coin, of course. I'm looking to accumulate it for this next bull run, but I'm not going to hold any of this coin through the end of the bull run or through the bear market following this bull run, because at some point towards the latter part of this next bull run, it seems inevitable that these 120 validators, combined with obviously some of the VCs and founders, are going to be able to, more or less tank the price of this coin. Now, this is not anything groundbreaking. A lot of coins, from my understanding, have very similar setups to this, which is why you see coins drop by over 95% during a bear market. But I felt like I wanted to be transparent and just put that out there that, this isn't really a coin that I would look to accumulate now for 10 years. I would look to accumulate it, reap its rewards during this next bull market, which we'll talk about in a second, and then sell it. Next up, I went ahead and pulled up their Twitter page. Just want to mention a couple of things here. Now, if we scroll down here to a post from 6 hours ago, it says, check out Blockworks Grant Farm, a comprehensive list of grants programs, including yours truly. Now, one of the things I mentioned in my last video about Veracity, and I'll mention in all the videos that I do in these top 10, is I like to check their Twitter page just to see how active they are, anything they have upcoming as far as news goes, because news really at the end of the day is what drives these coins, especially once we get into a bull market. And one of the more exciting things that Oasis Network has going on, which we'll do an update video on in the coming weeks, just like we'll do with all of our top 10 coins, we'll kind of give you an introduction video to them, a little bit about the chart, kind of areas I'm eyeing, what potential I think the coin has, and then we'll do update videos on kind of what they have going on, any updates they've made to their network, and so forth. But it says right down here from 7 hours ago, they have this thing called Sapphire, and it says right here, why Sapphire? It says it's unrivaled arbitrary computation capabilities, fast and scalable. There's that word, scalable. And then here's the big one, 99% lower fees than ETH. There is, of course, a video right below here that you're welcome to see this page on your own time and watch. It says that this Lindaloo explains the benefits of building with Sapphire, the first confidential EVM in the Web3 industry. So clearly, as we transition in the near future from bull market to bear market, the Oasis network's going to be pushing this Sapphire really hard. It's going to basically be what it uses as kind of its hype word, this confidential EVM, the first of its type supposedly. And so that to me is a good thing. It just means that this will be something that they'll be using to drive hype towards their coin, which of course will drive the price of Rose to the upside. And last but not least, we have arrived to the chart. Now this is the Rose, which is the token, which is the Oasis network token. This is the daily chart here on Binance. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we'll be doing update videos periodically on these coins that I mentioned that are my top 10, coins to accumulate during the bear market. And in those videos, I'll dive much deeper into the TA. In this one, I just want to mention a few things of interest, or things that at least interest me and hopefully would interest you as it relates to the price of this coin. And the first thing I want to point out is that from its all-time high, which happened actually in early January or mid-January of 2022, which was actually just right at about 60 cents, the current price is down from that price by around 90%. Why does that have me, salivating at the lips, so to speak? Well, anytime you see a coin that I believe should have, another hype run in the near future, or in the future anyway, seeing it down by, almost 90% tells me, hey, this is a good buying area. You can kind of see that between my blue box down here at the bottom and basically, which, really is around about 4.5 cents, all the way up to about 8.5 cents, you kind of have this area where the price of Rose has accumulated in the past before explosive move to the upside. Accumulated down here before a little miniature move, at least back here in August of 2022. That was kind of the summer crypto rally of last year. And then, now it's been accumulating back down here in this kind of same area. So really at the end of the day, I think anywhere in this range, basically between about 4.5 cents to honestly cents is a good area to accumulate, because I think, you know, my own opinion at least, that Oasis will reach its price from last bull run. I think it'll even, you know, double that, to be honest, in my opinion, just because I think this next bull run is going to be the ultimate altcoin bull run, even more than we saw this last one. But that being said, even if it just goes to its last price, or its last all-time high, you're looking at about a 900% gain, which is basically a almost 10x, right? Now, I know a lot of people come to crypto looking for the 50, 100x's, 200x's, 1000x's, you know, and a couple of the coins that I will talk about in my top 10 do have potential for much bigger gains than this. But to me, anytime you can enter or, you know, invest in a coin that's a safer play and can still do something like a 10x, I just think that's a good thing. It's a safe thing. It's a good play to hedge against some of your, I guess, more risky plays, if that makes sense. To me, this coin and a few of the other coins that I'll talk about in my next couple of videos really are going to be the hedge bets, I guess, against my more risky plays, which will be towards the end of the top 10. And Rose, along with VRA from my last video, Veracity, are just a couple of coins that I think will have a lot of hype around in this next bull run. At this point, they might be considered, you know, mid caps, especially in Rose's case, but I do think it'll be a large cap by the end of this next bull run, and I do think it will at least 10x. And one final thing I'll mention as we wrap up today's video is, let's just say you don't have the cojones, so to speak, to invest in this coin while it's obviously at the areas that I think are the better areas to invest in it. Maybe you just want to wait until it's broken out, so to speak, and then just kind of ride the wave up. I will say that this area on my chart that I put a blue line, which is right around 8.5 cents. You can see back here in 2021 that it broke it when retested it and then exploded to the upside. Later, it was key resistance. Here, it broke it, retested it, huge move to the upside. And then fast forward to 2022 in the May crash, it became key resistance. It does have this one fake out on its record or its resume, but of course that was during kind of the big capitulation of the bear market. And at this point, you know, it's retested that as resistance as recently as the middle of February, so just basically last month. And at this point, if that were to break above that and retest it as we kind of transition into the next bull market, which I think could happen towards the end of this year or early 2024, that would be the price I would be looking to get in. You know, in my case, I would be adding to my position, but in many of you guys' or girls' cases, maybe you'd be opening the position. This could be the area where you enter and hopefully just ride the bull market wave to the upside, which could still at that point, you know, give you something like, if I can get this zoomed out correctly, something like, you know, 6x. That's almost 600% still. And that, my friends, is nothing to cry about. Well, it's been fun, my friends. I appreciate you all for stopping by. Feel free, as always, to leave a comment, just if you have any questions or maybe just want to say hi. And other than that, if you haven't already, on your way out, please remember to like and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next one. It's TA.